I'm sorry, but the reason you aren't seeing results when you hair oil is because you're doing it wrong. I'm going to give you my full, in-depth, detailed how-to hair oil tutorial, literally step by step, so that you can start getting the most out of your hair oiling routine. So the first thing I'm doing, as you can see, is detangling my hair from the bottom up. You want to do it this way so that you're not pulling knots through your hair all the way from the scalp to the ends and ripping your hair out. The next thing we're going to do is stimulate the scalp before we apply any oil. Now, this is so important because it opens up your hair follicles and brings blood to the scalp, increasing blood flow and helping the oil to be pulled deep down into those follicles and allowing everything to absorb really nicely. The way I'm massaging is I'm brushing my scalp, and then I'm also actually holding the brush on my scalp and moving the skin around. Doing this upside down also really helps just to bring some extra blood flow to the scalp, and you want to do this for around 3 to 5 minutes or until your scalp feels tingly. Now I'm detangling again because you absolutely do not want to brush your hair when it has oil in, because that is when your hair is the most fragile. By the way, I'm using Woodland Ritual, which is the best. It has 18 natural ingredients in it and it is amazing for your scalp and length. As you can see, I'm applying a few drops per section and then I'm moving on to the next section. I usually apply 3 to 4 drops per section just on like the top of my scalp, and then I will move down the sides, then I'll move to the back after. Each time I apply a few drops, I massage it straight in just to make sure that I'm distributing it everywhere before I move on to the next section. This is really important, and I think this is where a lot of people mess up. They either just overload their scalp with oil, which is completely unnecessary, or they apply the oil unevenly so they're not covering all of their scalp, or they don't focus on massaging the product in enough, which is really important because you're still increasing all of that blood flow, you're spreading around the product evenly, and you're actually really helping it to absorb into your scalp. I'm showing you on this side that sometimes when I'm being a bit lazy, I do just kind of glide the dropper through. As you can see, as long as it's applied evenly, it really doesn't matter. So just to go over some of the main points, making sure our scalp is evenly covered and making sure that we're massaging everything in properly and not overloading our scalp, and obviously scalp stimulation before we apply any oil. Now, as you can see, I'm applying the oil to the back of my head. This I do kind of a bit more sporadically because I obviously can't see the back of my head. I just make sure that everything's covered and keep massaging it in as we did with the top. I also really like to make sure that I don't forget those hairs on the nape of my neck because they are very, very fragile. They get a lot of friction damage and people tend to forget about them, but you can actually have a lot of breakage back there. Next, this is one of my favorite parts, which is applying the oil to the lengths of my hair. A lot of people don't do this because a lot of hair oils aren't good for the lengths of your hair, but Woodland Ritual is incredible for the lengths. It adds so much softness, shine. It can really penetrate into your hair shaft and make a real difference. Just a reminder, shedding is completely normal when you hair oil. And applying a protective style like using a claw clip or a really loose bun is absolutely vital when you're hair oiling because your hair is very fragile when it has oil.